Hello my friend, I am Anmol Srivastav and he is my friend Ashish Srivastav. Welcome to our YouTube channel that is the Changing Life. Today we are going to discuss about the latest technology that is the blockchain technology. Yeah my friend. Blockchain technology is the latest technology and it works on the principle of a decentralization. Blockchain technology is a technology in which the information which is being loaded, which is being stored in form of blocks and it will be transferred to each and every person. You don't need to worry about to copy, you don't need to worry about just to save it because it can be transferred to each and every person in form of blocks. Blockchain technology works on the principle that it will be transferred to each and every person in form of blocks. Blockchain technology actually it involves the distributed ledger system. It is system in which all the ledger account or the information which will be transferred to the each and every nodes and to the each and every person within a community or within a group. I think the main advantage of the blockchain technology that arises it reduces the risk of a security. Actually, what happened that blockchain technology it minimizes the fraud detection, it minimizes the fraud and it increases the security. Yes. And therefore, it is mainly be used by the financial institution like banking, insurance, and most of the companies MNCs using the blockchain technology, including the Facebook company also. So you know that the trend of blockchain technology is going to be increased day by day, and it is very important for the concerns of a security. And one of the main advantages of the blockchain technology is that it cannot be hacked. It is a very secure system, and it cannot be break. It cannot be it cannot be it cannot be distributed. Means it will remain under the system of a blockchain. So that is the main advantage of blockchain technology. It works on the three principles. That is first principle that it works on a decentralization, means information is being transferred to each and every node in form of blocks, decentralized system. Second, that it involves a transparency because it is a transparent system. You don't it is very fair. It is a very fair system and it is very transparent. There is no any kind of fraud that is involved in this. There is a negligible kind of risk that is being involved. Third principle, and that it is a and that that it works on the principle of a decentralized.
So, no matter, I would discuss something about that the blockchain technology is basically you can say a transaction of the payments, or you can say the record of the transactions that is carried in form of a blocks, and that blocks are stored in the form of a chains. So that is you can have the idea about the blockchain technology. So blockchain technology is one of the most important and most interesting technology that I think you all might be familiar about that technology, because it is one of the latest technology, and its scope is increasing day by day. Not only the India but also inside the world. Blockchain technology is increasing. Why it is increasing? Because of the cryptocurrencies, the introduction of the cryptocurrencies, especially the one of the famous cryptocurrency, that is a Bitcoin. So that currency, because sharing of the currency involves lot of process. So one person who thought that how it be very interesting if I made this system, if I made this all the process very secure and very transparent, and there comes the introduction of the blockchain technology. Because blockchain technology is you can say an excellent technology, and it is very advanced, you can say. So coming to the advantages that you are getting from this blockchain technology. So the first advantage is the decentralization. Decentralization means that blockchain technology does not have an does not have a report on a one person. it gives the information to all the person. Let us take an example. If there are four persons, namely A, B, C and D. If A has transferred some money to some currency, digital currency to B, and B has transferred some currency to D, or you can say C has transferred some currency to D. So in this whole process, all four members, that is A, B, C and D, will be notified each and every transaction record. So it is one of the most transparent system, and it is very, you can say, decentralized. Decentralized means not a single person like A, B or C or D have a control over this technology. All four will be equally important for the part of this technology. They all be getting the same information. They all be having the access to the data that is being recorded on in the form of the digital ledgers. So it is very important to understand about it. Another thing that comes into an act is the data transparency. As I have discussed that after each and every transaction, the data is very transparent because it is distributed to each and every member of the each and every member who is being involved in the process of transaction. So it is very important to understand that data transparency is an you can say most prominent and efficient feature of this blockchain technology. So the other things that I would tell after taking the opinion of my friend Anmol. So what is your opinion about that?
Actually, one of the good example of the blockchain technology that came into my mind. For example, most of person use the Google Doc that is being used to share the documents and file to each and every person. It has been mainly used in our employees, in many MNCs, even at a personal use also. So if you share your file, if you share your file to your friends, if you share your file to employees or any other particular groups or community, so you don't need to paste and copy and paste in a WhatsApp group, in a Facebook group to each and every member. But with the help of a blockchain technology, it can be easily be transferred. Your file can easily be transferred to each and every member without having a copying and pasting of that file. So that is a simple example of a blockchain technology. Although the blockchain technology is much more complex than a Google Docs, that example that I have shown, but it works on the technology of a sharing system in which nobody have a control on a single node, nobody have a control on the system. All the members in a community have an equal importance, and all the members in a community have an equal access to the data which we are getting. And one of the important advantage of a blockchain technology is that data cannot be theft, data cannot be lost, there cannot be any theft in the data. Because for example, if someone lose their data, if someone by mistake lose their data, then that data can also be stored with another person also. So in the same way it forms a chain system. It forms a connected chain system. Data cannot be lost, data cannot be theft, and neither it can be hacked by any hacker. So it is a very secure and a permanent system, and it provides a full proof security in any organization. That's why most of the MNCs, most of the firms are using the blockchain technology to increase the security system. Because what happens that most of the information that they have been transferred, it is in the form of data packets. And in blockchain technology, you can also say that it is a form of a block, and each block contains the information and data, very precious information, and it can be shared to each and every person within a
that is including a chain.
That is included in a chain. So that is the main advantage of a blockchain technology. If you talk about the bitcoins, if you talk about the cryptocurrency, that is Bitcoin, it is a very popular cryptocurrency. So in a Bitcoin, what happened that if you use the blockchain technology in a Bitcoin, then you can say that the blocks, the data block is store the message regarding the sender and the and the information regarding the receiver only. So because blockchain these two information matters. Similarly, if you deal with the financial transactions in a banking system, so that block recall the financial transactions of the month, of a year, it also record the inventory system, it also record the data of employee and salary and most of the other things. So that is the main use of blockchain technology. So what can be the other use of blockchain technology that I would like to ask with my friend Nitin?
Yes. So actually, there are various applications of the blockchain technology. What my friend Anmol has told, there are some, I mean, you can say some of them, but I would make you to learn some other of them. Like blockchain technology can be used in the form of the, as you have discussed, the banking sector, in the form of the places where there is a huge requirement of a, you can say, a high big data, that is big data. Why? Because if the transactions are a lot, you may have a 1000 transactions within a single hour, you may have a thousands of a transaction within a day. So it is very obvious, but you cannot be able to provide the copy of all the transactions to all the people which are involved in the process. So this technology will automate this process, and by automating this process, it will to send all the people the information. So this technology is very secure. Another thing that comes into my mind is about the, you can say, it is used in a fraud detection, because when the data is connected, when each and every node has being stored the information, the, you can say, the engineer or the data person who is being checking for the fraud, so he can check that each and every node. By moving each and every node, he can be able to know that where there is a fraud of the data, where there are the loss of the data. So it is one of the biggest use. Another use, you can say, that in form of the medical. Why? If the medical record of a patient is recorded and it's to be sent privately, it's to be sent without the involvement of all other people, so it can be sent. So it is one of the important use. And as my friend Anmol has discussed about the Google Docs, yes, Google Docs also works on the same principles, because Google Docs does not provide the copy of the document to each and every person. Instead of providing a copy, he shares the actual report, he shares the actual file to the different people, and that is where this technology comes into an act. Another thing that I want to tell, that there are a lot of advantages on this technology, and you would be very wondered to know that the people, especially the IT experts, they are being learning these skills day by day, and by learning these skills they are getting the lakhs of the rupees and more, I think more than that, not only in the international markets but also in India itself. They are being good paid, and government is also promoting the, you can say, the digital transactions, and you can say the use of this blockchain technology, and government is trying to use this blockchain technology in the different forms. So it is very important to understand about the blockchain technology. The last thing that I want to say, as you know, that everything has the advantages and disadvantages too.
But before you speak the disadvantage, I would like to speak some more advantage on the blockchain technology.
Yes.
Actually, if I would go to detail that how the blockchain technology involves in the hospitality sector, how can it be involved in a large organization, that it will reduce the huge cost of organization, and it can save the precious data of every organization and every sector. That is the main advantage of blockchain technology.
Yes.
For example, if you talk about the hospitality sector, so all the precious data which is being recorded or which is being stored in a blockchain technology of a patients who came for their treatment and the patients who came for their operations can easily be stored in a blockchain technology, and that data can be transferred to every other hospitals, so that wherever that patient reach, so that wherever the hospital that patient reach, patient don't need to explain their problem, patient don't need to tell about their
medical report is already
be prepared by the every hospital, and therefore it provides a easy accessibility. It provides a easy accessibility and provide a easy reach for each and every hospitals in a city, in a country, to reach that patients and
Yes.
provide the personal guidance to the patient. So in this way, blockchain technology helps because blockchain technology that works on the sharing of data with all the persons. Therefore, it is one of the biggest advantage that blockchain technology involves, because data being stored by each and every person in form of nodes, and that data can never be hacked, and that data you can easily be explored at any time, at any location, at any place, with the help of a computers and with the help of mobiles.
Yes.
But with the help of an advantage that I have told you, there are also some disadvantages
That I would told.
that blockchain technology involves. For the actually before speaking disadvantage, I would like to tell about that blockchain technology is very good technology, good system. But what happened that there is information overload that sometimes happens in the server,
Yes.
because we input the most of the information in the system, and therefore it becomes a very complex and multiple node system, which can easily which person can easily be confused by the system. And actually what happens that those persons who are not literate, those persons who are not having a touch with the technology, they find that blockchain technology is somewhat difficult to understand. They cannot understand the blockchain technology. So therefore they can easily be fooled. Therefore they can easily be cheated by the hackers.
So
So that's the
coming to the point that I told that there are some disadvantages to that everything else. So some of the disadvantages that I want to list, as my friend Anmol has said, that information overload. Yes, information overload is one of the you can say one of the disadvantages. Why? Because data which is transacted, it is recorded in each and every part. That data is stored in distributed with every people, and when it is distributed with every people, it is not necessary that everyone requires that type of data. But even then, this due to this technology, it is sending the data to everyone. When it is sending the data to everyone, sometimes there comes a problem of the information overload. Another thing that I want to tell is that by sharing this data to everyone, it also increases its unusual work, because sometimes this type of work is not needed, but it is still doing it. What happens, it reduces the efficiency of the system. Sometimes it consumes more time, and sometimes it becomes more costly than the some of the cost effective strategies that can be adopted. So no matter that everything has advantages and disadvantages too, this technology has also some of the disadvantages, but according to my point of view, that the advantages are lot in comparison of the disadvantages. So I think you must be need to make yourself aware of this technology and try to learn at least the basics of this technology. I mean, apart from the scope of this video too. So that's all about this technology, and thank you to all my listeners, and goodbye.